Hi, welcome to my show, Olio. My name is Susan Rushton, and before I go any further, I need, as always, to explain what oleo means. One definition is that it's short for olla podrida, which is Spanish for rotten bowl, which I always get such a kick out of. It's a Spanish-Portuguese dish with essentially everything in the world in it. Pork in all its iterations, sausage, bacon, pig's feet, etc., as well as chicken, chickpeas, cabbage, carrots, beans, pig's ears, onions and garlic, of course. As I said, essentially everything in the world in it except pumpkin seeds and blackjack gum. That's one definition of oleo. Another definition is that oleo is what comes in between acts of a melodrama. So you might have somebody juggling, you might have somebody doing a skit, you might have somebody singing, and none of it has anything to do with anything else, and certainly none of it has anything to do with the melodrama. So, in other words, oleo is apples, oranges, and a monkey wrench. So, welcome to my monkey wrench. Today, my guests are people who represent an organization that I highly respect. This is 350 Placer. They are Shandon Schmeisky in blue over here, who is co-president of 350 Placer, and Lizzie Moore, who is communications director of 350 Placer. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And if you're interested listen to me. Since you are fascinated by learning more about 350 Placer, and you are, I inform you, please email at 350placer@gmail.com. Log on to 350placer.org. Look at Facebook, the 350 Placer. They have a page there, several pages. Or you could go on to the worldwide organization, 350.org. So, what is 350.org?
So 350.org is an international grassroots organization. There are local chapters all over the planet. And 350 is a really important number because it's the number that's thought to represent the safe and sustainable parts per million of carbon for life on our planet. So we need 350 parts per million of carbon to have a sustainable world. And we currently just measured 415.
So that was what, 415?
Yeah, so we passed 400, many years ago. Yeah, many years ago. But the object is to reverse climate change back to a safe and sustainable level.
Okay.
The number 350.
Okay.
Yeah, and so 350 Placer is a local chapter of the international organization.
And both of you are deeply, heartfully involved in 350 Placer.
Truly,
yes,
yeah.
And there are 27 organizations in California.
Okay.
Like 350 San Diego, 350 Sacramento. So.
And here we are in Auburn, 350 Placer.
Yep.
And so I know that some of you, all of you, now recognize, okay, we are talking about climate change. I would ask that even if you don't agree with us, that you stay watching, because there are things that we can do to prevent the rise of the amount of carbon in the air, and you want that to happen. So I'm thinking about the fact that now climate change has become political. Is that a reasonable thing?
Well, I suppose it's reasonable because we're human, and this is the way that humans respond. So first of all, in the United States, we're basically the only industrialized Western nation that right and left-wing parties don't agree that human-caused climate change is a problem. Now, in other countries, a lot of the right and left-wing parties don't agree how it should be solved, but they agree that it's a problem and that it's, that climate change is happening and that it's human caused. And then they can argue about what to do about it, but they've accepted that truth, so they are more forward thinking and more forward moving, more importantly, to actually reduce carbon and other greenhouse gas emissions. In the United States, it's become a political issue because instead of arguing about how to fix the problem, should government be involved, should government not be involved, should government be involved and the individual, should corporations be involved? I mean, really, what should we do about this big problem? So instead of arguing about that, if we have to argue, the fossil fuel industry has spent millions, just like they did with cigarettes. If you think about, now I was about 8 years old when they finally put the Surgeon's General warning on cigarettes, and it was a big deal, right? But they knew for 50 years before that
cigarettes were bad for us.
That they cause lung cancer.
Yeah.
But they get a few little doctors who recommend Camel because they smoke it and it's good, and it's like, smoking was made to be really fun and really cool, and that was a concerted effort on the part of industry that was very successful for a long time. The fossil fuel industry has done the same thing. So again, instead of arguing about what we should do about it, there's been so much doubt placed on even the scientific facts. I mean, if you believe that if you get vaccinated or have your kids vaccinated, if you have taken antibiotics, like you believe in the same science that has caused climate scientists to come to these conclusions. And so it's a political issue because in our country, it's easier to argue about the facts than it is to argue about what to do about it. And that's the tragedy of it, because we're wasting our time. We're on the wrong side. We're in the wrong place. We're arguing about the wrong thing.
So the three of us have agreed that there's something to be done and that there is a problem, correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So, and those continuing to watch, and I'm hoping you are, agree that there is something to be done. And those who are on the fence and are continuing to watch, well, what is there to be done? And I can imagine that I drove here in my used Tesla. And we got a Tesla because it's an electric car. We cannot, we've tried to deal with solar power, but we have too many trees, which is a good thing. Good trees are wonderful for the climate. But what if I can't afford a Tesla? What if I can't, as I can't, do solar power? What if I'm just too busy to recycle? What do I do?
That's a good question. Yeah, people who can afford to do the solar and electric car should do it. Just go ahead and do it, because it's a investment in our future, of our children, our grandchildren.
And I feel very proud.
Yes,
Tesla.
Yeah, take that money out of your mutual fund and do it.
Yeah.
But if you can't afford it, I understand that, and then you do the smaller steps. I have a list of things you can do on our website.
Yeah. And this list moves from least expensive to most expensive.
And easiest to hardest, the things that take the least amount of effort as well. And
I happen to have that list right here because you gave it to me.
Yeah.
One of them things is drive. The first easy step is drive less. Yes, and within the speed limit, or carpool. And the message I've received about driving within the speed limit or lower than the speed limit is to use less gas that way, or to use it slower.
There's lots of things that, and so that would save you money, and also wasting less food, which is a huge greenhouse gas emitter, is food waste. We waste like 30 to 40% of our food in the United States. And the tragedy of that is not only does it contribute to greenhouse gases, but there are people who are hungry. So there's that as well. So there's so many of those things that you can do, but I can't stress enough the importance of getting people into office who believe in caused climate change. And it doesn't take any money to be politically active. you can volunteer and work starting tomorrow to
And by
get that to happen.
what if you have a full-time job?
Yep, you can talk about it. You can talk about it with your friends. You can post it to social media. You can put a bumper sticker on your car, even if it's a gas-driven car.
Yes,
I vote for the
exactly.
climate or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
there's an amazing woman named Catherine Hayhoe, and she is a climate scientist. She's a devoutly religious climate scientist, and she does this amazing TED Talk. People can look it up, but she says one of the most impactful things that we can do is to talk about climate change, because if our friends and family who maybe are on the fence about the facts, or they don't understand the urgency, so that's the other thing that we haven't talked about yet is
Urgency.
is
Okay.
we need to act now, right now. We have a very small window where we can take action to avoid catastrophe, and so it needs to be now. So talking about it, speaking about it. I'm not a professional speaker, but I get up and I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to be perfect. I have an electric vehicle and solar panels, but so much of my daily life, I'm still trying to extricate myself from contributing to carbon emissions.
And it's tough.
It's very tough, and one of our cars isn't an electric vehicle because we could afford
We
one
could
and we
run.
can't afford the other.
Yeah.
But I don't have to wait to be perfect to talk about it, to stand for it, to vote for it, to take political action. If people sign up for our email list, they go to 350placer.org and sign up for our email list. There's lots of local things we can do, like calling your supervisor. That doesn't cost anything. Or showing up at a city council meeting. And we try to keep up with all of the local actions that people can take.
And what if you can go to a city council meeting or a board of supervisors meeting, and there's public comment at some time, even though
Yeah.
they're not talking about it.
Well, yes, you can absolutely do that, and also we try to send emails out like there is something environmental, and you really, like, if you're going to choose, show up on this Tuesday, and specifically, let's all join together to talk about this issue. And we try to be, we try
There's
to
power in numbers.
Yeah, the other thing that people can do that doesn't cost anything is they can contact us, and our group talks. We do presentations to community groups. We can talk about just solutions, what people can do, because, we could talk for hours and hours about all the different layers of solutions that we all can do on a daily basis. We also can talk about climate science for people who are doubtful about climate change being human caused. We can do a presentation about the science, and there's also a presentation that we give that talks about hope and finding the right mental and emotional and philosophical tools to not be overwhelmed and paralyzed by. Some people just feel like they can't take action because it's so overwhelming.
But you can brighten the corner where you are.
Well, and how do you do that? And
Yeah.
so people could invite us to come and talk, and then we could continue dialoguing.
Okay.
And that's really important, is to just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up
Yeah.
for this, for our planet.
Yeah. Now I'm seeing passion.
Yes,
here.
we're very passionate.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So, Shandon, you are co-president. What does that mean, co-president of 350
Well,
Placer?
my husband and I are the co-presidents.
Okay.
And, we each have our gifts. Like, my husband is a science teacher, retired science teacher, so he brings that to the plate. And I like to organize, and I like to do art, so I kind of bring that. And of course, Lizzie does a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's our media coordinator, and so, yeah.
So you've been recycling for 50 years.
Oh, well, 50 years, yes, and I was a founding member of the Cousteau Society. And then, always passionate about the environment. And then my husband and I moved up here about 41 years ago, and we built 2 solar homes, one in Weimar and one in Applegate. And we've just been doing all we can to limit our carbon footprint. And got to a point where I was getting kind of tired of going online and signing petitions and making donations. I wanted something more. So there's Sierra Club, which is good, but it's not specific to climate change.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why when I saw 350 Placer in one of our local magazines, I started going to the meetings.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So it can be, what I'm hearing is that it can feel hopeless, solving this problem, but as the more small steps, and recycling is a small step.
Mm-hmm.
Solar power is a small step. It's useful, and planting trees is a small
Well,
step.
I think solar is a big step.
Yeah. Okay.
Those are ones of the giant leaps, and if we all did that, it would make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You have a T-shirt
yeah.
that you brought, and this is a way to create awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is called our interactive T-shirt.
Interactive T-shirt. So
Yes,
we have
so
350 plaster on one side,
Yeah.
and should your next keep that up there for a while. Should your next car be electric? Ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
So
granted, electric cars are seem more expensive than cars that aren't, but you don't have to spend money on gas.
Well, I actually have to.
Yes.
Well, I actually have to say that's one of the reasons why we bought an electric car, because my husband commutes to Sacramento, and I calculated the amount that he was spending on gas every month, and our car payment replaces the amount that he was spending on gas. And there's virtually no maintenance on
Yeah,
electric vehicles,
yes, yeah.
so it was an even trade.
Yes.
And so, he also got 45 minutes left, in his day, because he can do, or more in his day, because he can now be in the carpool lane. So he actually gained, 20
that's great.
That's
minutes
wonderful.
each direction, which
Yeah.
is like golden,
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say that that's a selfish thing to do. Of course it's selfish. It makes life easier. But working to solve the climate problem is also an extremely selfish thing to do. And when we think about selfish, doing this for myself, I am doing it for myself.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it. But often when you do things for yourself, you're doing things for others as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think the consequences of climate change are already being felt and will be felt more and more and more in our lifetime. So it is absolutely about me doing everything I can for my son, who's currently 10 years old, and my future grandchildren.
Yeah.
But it's also about, I'm hoping to live another 45 or 50 years.
Yeah.
And it's about having my life sustainable and livable. And, just if you think about all the consequences of climate change, it's really worth making the effort. And the problem is that changing our lifestyle, it's going to be painful. It's
going to be inconvenient.
It's going to be inconvenient.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to talk about it. It's nice to be able to say to Shannon, God, I really wanted, I wanted a new outfit there was a dinner that my husband had. Spouses were invited, and I wanted to look cute, and I really wanted a new outfit, and I didn't buy one because I was like, the fashion industry actually contributes to about 10 or 15% of global greenhouse gases, and I felt like I could buy another outfit. I had the means at that point to buy a new outfit, but do I really need to? And can I have the courage to be the one to show up without new shoes? I mean, as an American woman, I'm just saying, we have to examine what the drivers of our behavior. And I showed up without my new shoes, and nobody noticed except for me. No one cared.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was fine, but it's these it's going to the thrift store and buying clothes instead of buying new clothes.
Yes.
It's just,
And the thrift stores are wonderful.
oh, they really are.
Wonderful.
And I would also
Perfect.
say that, we can't consume our way to sustainability, but we can make capitalism work for our environment. We can make our dollars count. So if we buy from environmentally friendly places, environmentally friendly things, and we buy less, we reuse, reduce, recycle, all of that. Somebody said at a talk the other day, first is refuse, then is reduce, then is reduce, then reuse, then recycle. And I like that.
Yeah.
So
I've been really conscious of when I go out to dinner, who is giving me which restaurants are giving me cardboard to go containers as opposed to plastic. And I have a column in the Auburn Journal, and so I'm going to point that out as soon.
And then if they don't, then you should say something to
Yes.
them, right?
Yes.
Yes, I'd really like this to be cardboard. Yeah.
Yes, and I would really, you would see me more often. I would spend more money here if you gave me my leftovers in a cardboard or recyclable container.
Right.
And imagine in a grocery aisle, if you look between two products and one's environmentally friendly and one's not, even if the one that's environmentally friendly is $1 extra, sometimes you can't afford that dollar. It depends on, what it is and where you are. But if you can, spend the extra dollar and have them order more of that. Have the environmentally friendly things fly off the shelf so that stores will buy more, because that's demand.
Yes, spread the news.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and spreading the news is something that one can do that doesn't cost any money.
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can imagine that lots of people are thinking, I'm poor. I don't have any extra money to buy a Tesla, to buy a Toyota Prius. I can't afford to do solar, but I can afford to phone. I can afford to email. I can afford to vote.
Sign petitions.
Yes.
Write letters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can afford to talk about it. I can afford to post it on my social media page.
Yeah.
I can afford to show up to events that I hear about because I want to be, in solidarity with, I can show up. Bodies make a difference, especially, at council meetings and everything. But just camaraderie. The more that people show up, the more it builds.
Yeah, climate strikes are very, very effective.
Climate strikes.
Climate strikes, like our friend Greta Thunberg.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And she just would sit on in front of her high school, or
It was their Capitol, I think. She sat on the Capitol steps. Must have been near her school.
yeah,
Every Friday, just sat there and maybe did her homework. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
But people knew why she was there.
yes. She
She was
had this big
protesting.
sign. Yes, yeah,
So, yeah.
Well, and our Congress people, for the most part, in Placer County, are not supportive of fighting climate change. And so calling and just saying, I'd like to voice my opinion. I want to let you know, my name's Lizzie Moore. I'm a voter in Placer County. I want to let you know that I vote for people who support action against climate change. That is totally free, and I hate making those calls. It's super uncomfortable, but every time I do it, I feel like I did my part for the day.
and every time you do it, you get better.
Exactly.
You've got the list of phone calls you've made in your head.
Right.
Right.
But to let our elected officials know now, whether it's at the city level, the county level, the state level, the national level, that we stand behind the climate
Mhm.
and that we are committed to reversing it, and that we will vote that way, is really powerful.
Yes, yeah. And I know that the two of you are out there about this, and you are a reticent person, Shandon.
Thank you.
And even though you're reticent, you're out there. So if Shannon can do it, I can do it. You can do it. And it's I can imagine that it's tough sometimes because people will argue with you.
Yes, they could. Yeah.
Do they?
I haven't come up with that a lot.
Really? That's wonderful.
I don't know if it's because I've been avoiding it, maybe.
But that doesn't mean you haven't been active.
I have been outspoken.
Yes.
And with this T-shirt and a little note that we give with it. Anyway, so we hand these out.
So you carry around your own. You wear your own T-shirt.
Right.
And you carry around a question and answers.
Yeah, and our other T-shirt said, "What does 350 mean?"
Okay.
And Lizzie already told you what that means. So that's our other T-shirt that was green that we couldn't use.
Yeah.
You wear it to the grocery store
Yeah.
or to the gym or wherever,
Right.
and maybe somebody will ask you what it means.
Do people ask you what it means?
Not as many as I would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want to get into an argument, or they agree with you.
But they could look at our
Yeah.
they could look at our
350
Placer
Placer.
and it'll give all the information.
Yes.
So they don't have to talk to me if
Yeah.
they don't want to.
So are those T-shirts available from your website?
Not from our website, but you can email us and we can get them to you
Okay.
if you're in Placer County.
Okay. And how much are they?
$20.
Okay. Okay. So log on to email 350placer@gmail.com.
Yes.
For if you are interested in getting one of these nifty T-shirts for $20. That will, I hope, I'm assuming they are sustainably made. I hope so.
I got them locally. I like to support the local.
Oh, good.
local businesses.
Where did you get them?
At the Dancing Dog.
Dancing Dog, Auburn, California. Fabulous. So, ladies, Shandon Schmeisky, this is. I'm thrilled that you have appeared here, even though you are a little reticent.
Yeah.
But you are powerful and energetic about this.
I'm passionate.
And Lizzie, you too are powerful and energetic about this. Communications Director of 350 Placer. Thank you very much, ladies,
Well,
for
Thank
joining
you so
me.
much for having us.
Yes, and I appreciate your continuing to watch. Thank you very much. I know that the Friends, the Friends replay is on any minute, or there's something else going on, but I'm glad that you're watching this. Thank you. So see how painless that was? Go online, 350placer.org, 350placer@gmail.com, Facebook 350 Placer, or take a look at 350.org. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again.